The Ming Dynasty, reigning from 1368 to 1644 AD, stands as a pinnacle of Chinese history. Following the overthrow of the Mongol-led Yuan dynasty, the Han Chinese-led Ming Dynasty heralded a renaissance, embracing and refining the traditional culture that had been overshadowed during the previous foreign rule. Under the banner of the Ming, China experienced economic growth, advanced technological innovations, and a flourishing of the arts. Ceramics from Zheng became the standard for beauty, with their exquisite blue and white porcelain revered worldwide. Literature thrived with classics like Outlaws of the Marsh and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Yet two feats from this era surpass all in their audacity and grandeur: the maritime expeditions of Admiral Zheng He and the construction of the Forbidden City. Together, they symbolize the Ming Dynasty's outward ambition and its inward reflection of imperial majesty. At the heart of the Ming Dynasty was its capital, Beijing. As the political and cultural epicenter, Beijing witnessed the rise of powerful eunuchs, cunning bureaucrats, and visionary emperors. Among these figures, none shone brighter than the Yongle Emperor, the force behind both Zheng He's voyages and the Forbidden City's construction. As we embark on this journey through one of China's most remarkable periods, we'll uncover stories of ambition, adventure, and artistry, showcasing how the Ming Dynasty not only shaped China, but also left an indelible mark on world history. Nestled amidst the lush landscapes of Yunnan province, a young boy named Ma He was born in 1371, destined to alter the trajectory of maritime history. Of Hui Muslim descent, Ma He's early life was marked by adversity. At a tender age, the Ming armies advancing southward captured him during their campaign to conquer the remnants of the Yuan dynasty. The Ming Dynasty had a tradition of castrating young captives, converting them into eunuchs to serve within the imperial palace. Ma He underwent this drastic transformation and was relocated to the heart of the empire, Beijing. Here, he would soon be known as Zheng He. Despite the harsh beginning, Zheng He's formidable stature, combined with his sharp intellect, made him stand out. He was soon placed under the tutelage of Prince Zhu Di, the future Yongle Emperor. Over time, the two developed a bond of deep trust and mutual respect. When Zhu Di contested the throne in the famous Jingnan campaign, Zheng He showcased not only his loyalty, but also his exceptional military prowess. Upon Zhu Di's victorious ascension to the throne as the Yongle Emperor, Zheng He's stature and influence grew exponentially. Recognizing Zheng He's capabilities, the Yongle Emperor envisioned a grander role for him, one that would extend beyond the palace walls and China's borders. He entrusted Zheng He with a mission of unparalleled scale, to command a massive fleet that would traverse the oceans, reaching distant shores and showcasing the Ming Dynasty's might and magnificence. But before we set sail with Zheng He on his legendary voyages, let's explore the engineering marvel that made it all possible: the construction and composition of the Grand Treasure fleets. The shipyards of Nanjing, positioned along the Yangtze River, buzzed with activity like never before. Under the directive of the Yongle Emperor, these grounds became the heart of an unparalleled maritime initiative. The goal? Construct the Grand Treasure Fleet, a naval armada so vast and advanced that it would dwarf any contemporary maritime force. Drawing from China's rich shipbuilding tradition, craftsmen, laborers, and engineers collaborated on these colossal ships. But the ships of the treasure fleet weren't just any ordinary vessels. They were floating behemoths, exemplifying the pinnacle of Ming Dynasty engineering and design. The central attractions of this fleet were the treasure ships. Towering at more than 400 feet in length, an impressive size even by today's standards, these ships were multi-decked, containing ornate cabins and spacious halls. Equipped with watertight compartments, they ensured buoyancy and safety, even in turbulent waters. But the fleet wasn't comprised solely of these giants. Accompanying the treasure ships were myriad support vessels, horse ships transporting livestock, grain ships laden with provisions, water ships storing fresh water, and patrol boats safeguarding the fleet. The composition of the fleet was a testament to its multifaceted objectives. While showcasing the Ming Dynasty's grandeur was a primary aim, the fleet was also equipped for trade, diplomacy, and even potential combat. Beyond the ships themselves, the human component of these voyages was equally impressive. At its zenith, the fleet boasted a staggering crew of over 27,000 individuals. From sailors, navigators, and interpreters to soldiers, medical personnel, and astronomers, the diversity of roles was reflective of the expedition's expansive goals. With this majestic fleet at his command, Zheng He was poised to embark on a series of voyages that would traverse the known and unknown parts of the maritime world. As the massive anchors were lifted and sails unfurled, the horizon beckoned with promises of discovery, diplomacy, and the unparalleled ambition of the Ming Dynasty. If you're enjoying our content, please consider subscribing. It's free, keeps you updated on our latest video, and supports our channel immensely. In 1405, with the horizon as their guide and ambition in their hearts, Zheng He and his colossal armada set forth on their inaugural voyage. Departing from the bustling ports of Suzhou, the fleet made its first sojourn to the eastern coasts of Southeast Asia. As they anchored in Champa, which we know today as Vietnam, the fleet was greeted with a mix of curiosity and awe. This sentiment was echoed in Java, Malacca, and onto the northern shores of Sumatra. The primary goal of these early stops was twofold: to establish diplomatic relations and to immerse in the rich tapestry of Southeast Asian maritime culture. As the fleet pushed its boundaries westward, the vast Indian Ocean beckoned. By 1407, the Ming Armada found itself gracing the ports of Cochin and Calicut, India's southwestern coastal cities known for their bustling trade and vibrant cultures. Here, the exchange wasn't just material. Ideas, stories, and dreams flowed freely between the Chinese sailors and the local populace. As the calendar pages turned to 1409, Zheng He's ambitions expanded further west. The fleet, already seasoned by its earlier adventures, was poised to embrace the mysteries of the Arabian Peninsula. Touching the vibrant ports of Aden and Hormuz, Zheng He and his men found themselves amidst the heartbeats of the Islamic world. Their interactions ranged from intricate trade negotiations over silk and spice to philosophical exchanges that bridged the East and West. The African continent, with its vast landscapes and diverse cultures, was the next frontier. By 1417, the treasure fleet sailed down the eastern African coast, making stops at Mogadishu, Mombasa, and Malindi. In these lands, the Chinese were introduced to treasures like ivory and rhinoceros horn. But more than commerce, these interactions showcased a Ming dynasty eager to understand and connect with the broader world. The voyages, while grand, were not without their challenges. In 1421, while fostering ties in familiar ports, Zheng He's fleet encountered resistance in Sri Lanka. What started as diplomatic outreach soon escalated into skirmishes, with the Ming forces eventually taking the Sinhalese king captive to China. This episode served as a stark reminder that the world Zheng He navigated was as complex and unpredictable as the oceans themselves. As 1431 dawned, Zheng He embarked on what would be his final maritime endeavor. This expedition was a reflection on the past, a consolidation of the ties nurtured over decades. As the fleet revisited key ports, it was clear that the world's perception of China had transformed. Through these voyages, The Ming Dynasty had carved an identity of exploration, diplomacy, and cultural exchange. The legacy of Zheng He's 7 voyages was profound. While the waves they sailed have long since settled, the ripples of their journey, in the realms of diplomacy, trade, and mutual understanding, continue to shape our world. As Zheng He's ships docked and the treasures from distant lands were unloaded, a simultaneous grand project was underway in the very heart of the Ming Dynasty. Just as the vast oceans bore witness to China's maritime prowess, back home in Beijing, an architectural marvel was rising, destined to become the epicenter of Chinese power and culture for centuries to come. The Forbidden City. Constructed between 1406 and 1420, this vast palace complex was the brainchild of the Yongle Emperor, the same visionary who commissioned Zheng He's Voyages. Stretching over 180 acres and surrounded by imposing walls and a vast moat, the Forbidden City was more than just a residence. It was a tangible testament to the Ming Dynasty's grandeur, innovation, and authority. As you entered through its majestic gates, you'd be greeted by a sea of golden roofs, intricate carvings, and expansive courtyards. Each corner, each tile, spoke of meticulous craftsmanship and profound symbolism. The colors chosen, primarily gold and vermilion, symbolize prosperity and imperial power. Inside its walls, the Forbidden City housed not just the emperor and his family, but also an entire microcosm of the imperial administration. Thousands of eunuchs, guards, and servants roamed its corridors, ensuring the smooth operation of the Ming and later Qing court. One of the most significant features of the Forbidden City was its emphasis on harmony and order, drawing inspiration from ancient Chinese cosmology. The main halls and living quarters were aligned along a central north-south axis, reflecting the traditional Chinese worldview of a harmonious cosmos. But it wasn't just about grandeur and aesthetics. The Forbidden City was a hub of culture and learning. Within its walls, scholars debated, artists created masterpieces, and astronomers charted the skies. In many ways, it was an extension of the same spirit of exploration and discovery that characterized Zheng He's voyages. Over the centuries, as dynasties came and went, the Forbidden City remained, witnessing the ebbs and flows of Chinese history. It stood as a constant, a symbol of China's enduring civilization, much like the legacy of Zheng He's voyages. In our journey through the annals of the Ming Dynasty, we've sailed the vast oceans and wandered the halls of imperial power. Both the voyages of Zheng He and the towering walls of the Forbidden City serve as enduring reminders of a time when China reached out to embrace the world, and in doing so, left an indelible mark on the pages of history. As the sun began to set on the age of Zheng He's expeditions, and the brilliance of the Forbidden City, the Ming Dynasty, like all empires, confronted the inexorable tide of time. But even in decline, the shadows of its majesty provided foundational lessons and symbols for the eras that would follow. By the mid-15th century, maritime pursuits began to wane. Internal strife, coupled with economic challenges, saw China retracting its vast naval gaze. Yet, even as the great treasure fleets became memories of a bygone era, their impact on global trade, diplomacy, and cross-cultural exchanges had already been deeply imprinted. The maritime routes Zheng He pioneered continued to be bustling pathways of commerce and communication, utilized by nations around the world. Parallelly, within the imposing walls of the Forbidden City, political intrigues and power struggles became more pronounced. The grandeur of the palace remained, but the harmonious order it once symbolized started to fray at the edges. However, it would be overly simplistic to see this period merely as one of decline. Even in these challenging times, Chinese arts, sciences, and philosophy flourished. planting seeds for future renaissances. As centuries unfolded and the Ming made way for the Qing, China underwent profound transformations. The legacy of the Ming era, both in the maritime exploits of Zheng He and the architectural wonder of the Forbidden City, became touchstones of identity and pride. The Qing rulers, while of Manchu origin, recognized the importance of these symbols and continued to uphold them, even as they introduced their own traditions and governance styles. Fast forward to contemporary times, these icons of the Ming era have taken on new significance. The Forbidden City, now known as the Palace Museum, attracts millions of visitors annually, serving as a bridge between China's storied past and its dynamic present. Modern scholars and diplomats often harken back to Zheng He's voyages as they shape China's Belt and Road Initiative, seeing in those ancient journeys the same spirit of mutual benefit and cooperation. In tracing the footprints of the Ming Dynasty, we're reminded of the cyclical nature of history. Periods of brilliance are often followed by introspection, only to rise again, reshaped by the wisdom of the past. The tales of Zheng He and the Forbidden City aren't just chronicles of a bygone era. They are timeless narratives, echoing China's enduring quest for understanding, connection, and global harmony. If you find our content engaging, please consider subscribing. It'll keep you informed about our newest videos and greatly support our channel. Thank you.